All right, Sci-Fi Express Lane, Jeff Carroll. I don't know why I don't have a lot of video space left, but writer, filmmaker, former school teacher. How about I add that, right? But I'm here. I wanted to talk to you about Highest to Lowest, Denzel, Spike Lee reunited movie. I saw it last week, and I don't know why I didn't review it further. I think the reason why is, number one, I don't like to do a lot of reviews on this page because I want it to be more me talking about issues. But because I thought the film was discussion worthy and I wasn't seeing enough people talk about it, did I decide to just talk about it. I said, you know what? Let me do a movie review on the Highest to Lowest because I don't see nobody else doing it. And let me see. I'll say, I forgot, the last movie Spike Lee and Denzel did together, where it was, I think Jodie Foster was in there, and no, that was Clive Owen and Denzel. And Spike Lee. But that was the last really good Spike Lee movie that I can remember. Instead of going back to the school days, Malcolm X and all those other greats. But in the last few joints, I did like the brothers, the bros, and what the military guys with Delroy Lindo tore it up. But moreover, I'm really feeling this movie's message packaging. So let me just say, I'm not endorsing the message. But I do like the packaging. When I say the packaging, I do like the way he paced the film, the storyline of it, and even though if you didn't know it was a message in it, once it reveals its message and its opinion, it's all in. Now, the message or the subject area of the message is a critique on the music industry, social media, social influencers, and I think Denzel is kind of putting himself as, in the story, a father who changes. The problem that I have is his father's a big head. Denzel is a big head, know-it-all, successful dude, cocky because he's successful. And I think Denzel didn't really have to act that character because I think he is that character with a lot of opinions on social media, a lot of opinions on what this generation of kids is doing. And mind you, he's older than the parents. He's grandparents' age. You know what I'm saying? So he played a parent. Parents are 40s. That's when your kid is in their teenage years. 50s, right? That's when your kid is you hit 60, you grandparent, you grandfather. You know what I'm saying? So he's 60s, he's grandfather. Either you got an older grandchild, or your child just had a grand, so you got a little one. Either way, 60s, so that's some grandparents' age right there. So that was, it's nothing wrong with playing younger people. I ain't hating on age, but Denzel, played this guy, and he was a knucklehead. He wasn't cool, right? He wasn't cool in the beginning of the film. He was very hard on his son. He was disrespectful to me, but I think my opinion of rich people is that they can be just like that, right? Some rich people, especially when, they're the entrepreneurial rich and they made it themselves. They think they know everything, and he got taught a lesson. Now, in real time, we've seen people like Dame Dash, have to take a hard pivot and fall from grace. You understand what I'm saying? And He's in the process of doing all that right now. And we're not privy to his domestic conversations. But when you go from being the top bread earner, like he was top record producer, and you never know, your wife, who's just been a good nurse, she started pulling in 100,000, 150,000, you know what I'm saying? And you're not pulling anything. Her expenses can fully cover the house. She can buy herself a nice car. What? Yo, the dynamics in the house totally change. And maybe I'm writing a different movie, but the wife in Denzel's story, she was a trophy wife. So let's not get that twisted. She wasn't even a Kimora Lee Simmons, although he had Russell Simmons' energy. She wasn't a Kimora Lee Simmons. So she wasn't working. She was definitely dependent on him. And mind you, I think she's the actress, she plays the ultimate trophy wife. I have no idea. She's the woman that plays the wife in Harlem, Godfather of Harlem, and she just looks like the perfect trophy wife. She's not confrontational. She's supportive. She looks the part. She's elegant, and wow, that's amazing. So she's not a regular dude mogul's wife. Although maybe that's how LeBron's wife is. Maybe that's how Denzel's wife is. I don't think it's how Steph Curry's wife is. Who else? Well, we know Puffy beat up his women. I don't know if Jermaine Dupri is married. I know he was with Janet Jackson, so I don't know if he's married. So I don't know. We don't know. She's one of the wives that you wouldn't know because she plays the position very well. She's in that position. She's the wife. So when he finally gets his lesson, and I'm not giving away the movie, and he has to come back to listen to his son, first of all, I think it happens really late in the movie, and the pivot isn't fully done. He like halfway pivots. He's still the man, and he don't really have a fall from grace. He still has respect, and he still has all his friends intact. And I think in real life, your friends reassess your worth, and that level that you were once at because you threw your weight around, you're now a regular dude, or you might drop down even below them. You know what I'm saying? Even though they may still think of you as my man that, I can put money on, you're not that go-to touch everything turns to gold like you used to be. Like, just think of Dame Dash. Dame probably could tell you everything, what color suit to wear, what kind of car to drive, where to buy your house, what school your child should go to. And he had that fall from grace. Now you're going to be like, nigga, you don't know what school my son should go to. I take it, whatever, because he done lost that position and status. And that's what Denzel goes through. And when he does come around, which he does come around, it's like at the end of the movie. I don't even think it's 2 scenes. I think it might just be 1 scene. Anyway, also, I think in real life, the hard advice that people like Dame Dash, Russell Simmons give, right, has to be reevaluated when they have a fall from grace. And I don't think there was enough room for that. It's like, give you an example. It's very dear to my heart. I'm not a mogul. I'm not a rich person. I have only worked with people like that. You understand? I've been around Russell Simmons. I've been around Dame Dash, but never close enough to him to be there. But I've been around him. I was in my come-up timeline matches Puffy's come-up timeline. So I remember Puffy when he was an intern, because I was an intern at the same time. And I went to the record company. So I saw his ego develop, right? Now, by the time he was Biggie, I wasn't even seeing him in places, right? But that Mary J. Blige Puffy, that Father MC Puffy, the Craig Mack Puffy, I was around. I saw him. Didn't go to parties, because he didn't even have parties. He had nights at nightclubs. He wasn't throwing these crazy parties until probably after Biggie. But I remember that guy. I never met Irv Gotti, but there were so many people in New York that had that energy. You know what I'm saying? That, I'm a mogul, I'm a rich person. It overlapped into their accountants. It overlapped into other people that did business with them. I had met people that worked for Revolt, if they was top in Revolt, if they were A&R people, anybody, publicists, ridiculous, of course. They controlled everything. If there was any of that, they talked with universal confidence. And that's what Denzel had in his story. He talked, he looked down at Jeffrey Wright, who played his driver, right? This was my driver. Yeah, you know the streets, but I know everything else. And I didn't even know the streets, so you can't really tell me anything. So that's a really different type of person. And I really thought people would have something to say about this. I'm still tripping on people not talking about this movie. Because number one, I think it's a throwback movie. It should have been a period piece, because I don't think record companies have that control anymore. Although they made it relevant with social media, although they made it relevant with 360 deals and catalog sales. I think those are real, right? And I think those are real contemporary. But I don't know if people are really beating themselves down for record deals. A$AP Rocky plays a rap artist in it. There's a couple of rap artists, but I personally don't think there's a recording artist that is, and I don't even know what record company is out there. I know Bad Boy, ain't nobody was dying to be a part of Bad Boy. Are you kidding me? They was, Justin Bieber kind of put, and Chance the Rapper put record companies out of business. Put your stuff out there yourself. So I don't think it's those type of mogul-led record companies. Sony, the corporation record companies, they may still be around, because they were not just one person. Those were big conglomerates. They owned there was a bunch of labels. They were more of a distribution company than they were a record company. But because they were so powerful, they had Epic, they had Arista, they had all these labels underneath them. So yeah, I don't know where the record companies are anymore. I wonder if they still have that building they used to have where I used to work at. I'm thinking it's 57th Street, but it might be 54th or something like that, the Sony building. There was, and every MCI, they had their own building. So I don't know if it's like that anymore, but I would have appreciated even some of that world building that is there, because the scope of the picture, as with a lot of Spike Lee pictures, are very small. He gives you that intimate scope that feels like an independent film, feels like not necessarily a low budget film, but it's something that low budget people really don't have no choice to do, is to give you that small scope. I wish the scope would have been bigger. I wish it, because we got television shows that feel bigger. Madlock, Will Trent, these are lawyer-based shows or private investigator-based shows, but you feel the world is bigger. The Wire felt bigger. The Wire was about record industry, but you had the principals from high schools, you had the mayor, you had the police chief, and I think if he would have had like a television news reporter character that played something role in it, the mayor, because the dilemma that he was facing, and then what happened to his character about who the size of character he was, it would have involved all of those people in real life. So that was my only thing. But again, like I said, let's see what I give it. I give it a 7. That's because I like Spike. I love Denzel. I love Jeffrey Wright. Those are all my people. And the trophy wife, I gotta look up her name. She's good, but it wasn't great film. There was elements to it that I felt were deliberate in terms of what Denzel wanted to say, and I don't agree with him. You know what I'm saying? I barely agree with him when he made the pivot at the end of the movie. So that's not the type of father that I am. It's not the type of teacher that I am. Anyway, that's it. If you've seen the movie, you know what I'm holding back from. If you didn't see the movie, please still try to make a comment. Like, subscribe, share. All right, Jeff Carroll out. A little over, but I think it's worth it.